What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Unmasked Podcast. What do you recommend them do or not do as far as like coming out of high school and pursuing a career someday? So what went wrong with that deal or what?
Are you recording already?
No.
Are you so much taller than me?
It's a bench. It's a bench. That's why I like sitting on this side because I'm not smaller. I'm just. You know, I'm gonna be honest with you. This is probably the most nervous I've been in a very long time.
Why the fuck?
Because we've been planning this for, and I always say it, and it sounds really stupid that I say it, but we've been planning it for a long time. Oh, yes. And
No, we haven't been planning for a long time.
we've been talking about doing it.
I've been ready for a long time.
No, I mean, so have I, but it's finally.
I wasn't even supposed to wear this, by the way.
I don't.
But I just
care.
got off.
It looks
can I
good.
borrow a shirt?
We don't have
We don't fit.
I'm still. I mean, it'll fit you, but it'll be really loose on you.
All right, let's go. Let's get
Okay.
it going.
Well, thank you for being here today and taking some time out of your day to be here. I know you're a busy man, so I really appreciate that.
What were you doing that you were tripping on how late I was running?
No, I like being on a little bit of a schedule now.
Are we on live? It's live.
It's live now, yeah.
Oh,
It's fucking live.
okay.
I just like being on a schedule, you know, because my girl's got her schedule and then I got my schedule, so she has to drive all the way to her mom, so she'll be here. But don't worry about it. I guess fuck all my shit, huh?
Yeah.
Um,
I just totally messed up your day.
No, actually, you made it better. I'm really happy to see you. I didn't think I was gonna be this happy to see you because obviously, fuck you.
I want to say something. Before
Oh
we
my
start.
god,
Was that too loud?
a little bit.
I want to. Yeah, actually, I should back this up because I talk a little loud.
Yeah, you have an amazing voice.
Why the fuck do you have no soliciting sign on your front door?
Well, it has to do with, like I said, my baby, and my dog barking when they knock. Not so much that I don't want to hear people's pitches. It's just that.
Didn't you solicit for a while?
Yes, I did. I was a door-to-door salesman.
So you were a door-to-door salesman. You were a solicitor, and you have a no soliciting sign?
I do. Because my wife hated the fact that when they would knock, my dog would bark, and my dog's got a really loud bark, and then my baby's naps would be off.
What do you think my job title is?
What is your job title?
Yeah, I'm a solicitor.
And
You have a sign that basically says you're not welcome here.
Yeah, you're not welcome here. That's why I put it up, especially because you're.
All right, let's go. Let's go.
Where are we starting? You
I
feel
don't know. You
comfortable?
talk.
You feeling good?
Haven't done a podcast in.
I haven't been
in
a
years.
podcast in forever either.
I said a podcast.
No, yeah, something like that. This is why I was nervous. This is why I was telling you, like, I just wanted to get back into it because I don't want to fuck it up. Like hobbies that I did last week, I was so nervous, bro. I didn't know how to speak. You know how there's a certain tone you got to speak into a mic so you can like sound
I
good?
think we get caught up in like. How can I explain this? Like, what are people gonna think? Like, or does this sound too fake? Does it sound too real?
Yeah. And I've been
yourself.
told before that I sound really fake, which I don't think I do, but I think last week
We don't
I
just sound
sounded
fake.
really
You are pretty fake, but
That too. So like I was telling you previously, I really want to know
Cheers.
about. Excuse me. Give me 1 second. I like closing it. Cheers.
that'll get us started.
Believe it or not, this is my first beer in a very long time.
Seriously,
Yeah,
what's a very long time?
2 days ago.
Oh Jesus! I thought you were being serious. I was like, shit. Now I feel bad.
No. I've been laying low on the alcohol, but not my first one.
Me too.
Anyways, I really want to know about you because I know you, but I don't know you, and I feel like a lot of people know you, but I don't know you, and I want to know you.
So you want to know me?
I want to know who you are,
Okay.
and I want to start from the very beginning, like diapers, Edgar.
I don't think I can remember back that far, but we'll do our best.
We'll do our best. What I really want to start with is, how was your life growing up?
Yeah. So, well, first of all, thanks for having me. Like you said, we've been planning this for over a year probably. Then season 1 ended, and I didn't get invited to season 1, and then like season 2 came up, and I probably barely made the cut, you know. But hey, it is what it is, right?
No.
No, man, no, seriously. Thanks for taking your time as well. I know having a baby, I have 2 of them, so
And we'll get into that.
Yeah. So, yeah, dude. So growing up, I mean, I can't complain about like having a bad childhood. I had a really good childhood. My parents gave us all they could. Could we have had more? Of course, but everyone could always have more, right? I don't know. I don't think I ever, as a kid, really realized that the situation we were in. Because a lot of times whenever you're growing up, like you just think your parents don't want to buy you stuff just because they're being assholes and they just don't want to buy you something.
Yeah.
The reality was probably that they couldn't afford it. And you start to notice that now as you start to develop into your adulthood, right? And like, it's like we obviously, are blessed and make probably more than our parents made whenever they were starting their legacy. And then even with that, like, with percentages of like what our money means to the like towards the economy or against the economy versus what our parents meant against the economy. And so like what I'm getting at is I think that we're in a better financial situation than they were when they got here. Right. And so even then we still struggle sometimes to like, give our kids what they want or what we think they deserve or whatever. And so like, I can only imagine the stuff they had to go through, being that like, they were agricultural workers and stuff. But yeah, I can't complain. I mean, I honestly think that it gave me drive. Excuse me. It gave me drive and like it made me kind of the person I am right now because, without like all the corny quotes and stuff, but like how you do one thing is how you do everything. And so I think that like the person that I've became today is just because I don't think my parents really ever gave me handouts. Like I was working at 12 years old, dude. And a lot of people don't believe that. And I'm not like mad about it. I don't complain about it. It's actually probably the reason that I have what I have. I would sell hot dogs at the remate. My dad would drop me off at like 5 a.m. in Lamont. Yeah, I don't know do you remember the Winnie Express? Yeah. So I used to work with him. He would my dad would drop me off at his house at 5 a.m. We'd prep everything, cut like tomato, do the whole thing. Funny story about that. I don't think he's in business no more, so I think we could say this. So so not in a bad way. He retired. He had some health complications, but so he used this thing that like you would put a jicama in, you put it in there and you would like turn it and it would like shred it. And so I was doing it right. And with gloves on. And so I'm doing it. And then like, I just felt like, what the hell? And like it cut a piece of my like skin off and glove off. And I couldn't find it in the jicama. And so the good thing is that I didn't bleed immediately. Right. So like someone ate a piece of my skin. When I was 12 years old. I don't in some jicama.
Blessed. They're absolutely blessed.
But no, that's a true story too. I'm not making that shit up. So yeah, my dad would drop me off at 5 a.m.
This sounds like something stupid you do.
Hey, well, I mean, what was I gonna do? Hey, can you fire me, dude? Because my finger just went into 2 pounds of jicama.
My DNA's in somebody's body now.
It is. Yeah. So I would sell hot dogs all day, probably from like, we would get to Remate like 8 a.m., 7 a.m., because I think they opened at 7 or at the time. I'd get home probably like 5:30, 6. This was Friday, Saturday, Sunday when I was 12. I'm lying, not Fridays. Fridays was just in the afternoon. He would pick me up and we would like cruise and sell. Saturday and Sunday was when I would go to Remate all day. And then when I turned like 14 or 13 was when I actually started playing in grupos. And so obviously I couldn't do both because that was requiring a lot of time. And so I stopped doing the hot dog stuff at like 13. So I did that for about a year. And then when I was 13, and honestly, I talk about this a lot, like my dad had a lot of trust in me. I mean, taking a 13-year-old, and I at the time I thought it was normal, right? It's like, I'm 13, it's fine. Like I'm an adult, right? Right. But now you look at a 13-year-old, and when I see 13-year-olds at like family parties now, I'm like, my dad trusted me being around a bunch of freaking probably like alcoholics and drug addicts at freaking parties playing at 13 years old. And my dad would just go drop me off. And he just, I mean, I guess he trusted me because he knew that I had never done anything stupid like that before or like anything stupid. But yeah, so he would drop me off at like tocadas, 6 o'clock or whatever. And then one of the guys always had to give me a ride back. And I don't know if he's going to watch this or not, but Jose Salcedo, huge shout out to that guy. I don't even know how old he is now. I haven't talked to him in years. I think we follow each other on like Facebook or something. But he was always the guy that would come through like 3 in the morning, take me all the way to Arvin. He had no need to. It was like, hey, just give me $10 for gas. And it's like, I think about that now. And it's like, if I had a 13-year-old, well, maybe also because of my age, and he knew like he was trying to take care of me. So I'd probably do the same. But I could imagine like right now, like, hey, well, we just got done with our gig. Let's drive all the way to Arvin to take this kid home and then come all the way back, get home at 4, So huge shout out to him. But yeah, dude, I remember a lot of like pivotal things that happened throughout that time. I would play at Aldo's nightclub when that still existed.
Wow.
At like 14. When I went into sophomore year of high school, I through mutual friends. So at this time, I was playing with a grupo called Quinta Serie, but I wasn't officially in their group. I was trying to get myself in there. But they had every instrument player, they had everything. So I was kind of like their groupie. Okay. Like I'd be at other tocadas, and like that's kind of how I learned how to play like most of the instruments. Cause like the bass player would be like, I gotta go take a piss, and so I would grab the bass and I start playing, and then he'd come back, and then the sexto player would be like, hey, I'm gonna play a sexto, and like that, you know. Mm-hmm. And I would have them set up and put everything away. And throughout that time, I mean, we would get back to the bass player's house, Rafa. We'd get back to his house, and that's kind of where they would break bread. Like, hey, it's what we made, whatever. And then it was just kind of like whatever you guys want to give me. So sometimes, and again, huge shout out to them. They had no need to do it. But I mean, I was doing a lot of legwork that at the time, like, honestly, it was probably free labor. Like, I was out there literally setting their shit up, picking it up, like helping them unload it at the house. And they'd probably give me like $20 each. So I'd make, $100, $80 every time that I went out. And as a kid, dude, like 13 years old, like I was balling, dog. Like I would go to the snack bar, like everything's on me, bitches. Oh, yeah. I was always broke.
So how did you get into wanting to play music though? Like, prior to getting into, tocadas and that part of your life, like how did you get into music? Like what made you realize that you wanted to pursue music?
So, I don't know exactly where it came from exactly. I know I have like some family, like second uncles and stuff that played music back when they were in Mexico still, but none of my dad's siblings like play anything, and my mom's either. We used to be, I grew up Catholic. I'm Catholic. I grew up Catholic my whole life. And we would go, I forgot what it was called. I think catecumenado or something like that. I could have probably said that wrong, and I'm sorry if I disrespected anybody, but
yeah, me.
We were, I don't care about you. We would do this thing where it was like a church group basically at the St. Thomas Church in Arvin. And so like these guys would like play guitar, and like we would sing and stuff like that. And I remember just being attracted to the guitar. Excuse me. I guess that's why it's not a good idea to drink while you're doing a podcast. No. Anyway, but yeah, so I remember being attracted to like playing the guitar, and I remember, and I'm sorry if somehow he ends up watching this and I disrespect his name, but I think his name was Gabriel. Gabriel, that was actually like, I remember my mom saw the interest that I had in guitar and whatever, and I remember they bought me a guitar in the remate. Dude, it was like a $30 guitar, like strings were hard as shit, like. It was just hard, and I remember a lot of little stuff that when I was learning how to play the guitar. But I went to go to this guy's house, also a guy that was probably at the time in his early 20s, mid 20s, and I'm over here not even at this time. I was like 7. I was like 7 years old. Okay, and he's taking time out of his day. A 25-year-old dude. What do you want to be hanging out with a 7-year-old? Mm-hmm. He's taking time out of his day and teaching me how to play guitar. I remember. For any musicians that end up watching this, there's a thing called, there's a note called F, fa. And it's like, when you're learning, in my opinion, it's one of the harder notes to play because it requires all your fingers. And so you got to use your index finger to press all the strings at the same time. Mm-hmm. And I remember that because my guitar was like a cheap guitar, it was freaking hard because you're close to like the top of the neck. And so I remember I got I lost all the lingo, dude. I haven't played music in a while, but there's like a thing that holds the strings. Like it's like a little clip. Like a clamp? And it holds the strings. So I remember like I put it on there, I put my finger over it, and like, hey, look, Frank. It was Frank and Gabriel. I was like, oh yeah. So I remember Frank. I got it and I played it and he's all happy, but I cheated him, dude. It was like I wasn't really doing it. But it was the guitar because when I would play his guitar, he had a better guitar, and so it was easier for me to play it. And that's kind of what sparked my interest. I played as a kid. I think throughout even at the same time. Maybe when I was a little bit younger, throughout Haven Drive for sure, but middle school, I was playing in the church choir. I'd play guitar there. So yeah, I basically learned how to play music through church. And then it just grew and I turned it into a belicon.
And for those that don't know what belicon means, what
it's
is
a belican.
I
don't know, bro. I don't know.
Corridos
bélicos, bro. I don't know.
Thanks, bro, for making me feel stupid now. What's a belican?
But yeah, so back to like I was
back
playing,
to high school, 14 years old.
So I'm with this. I'm trying to work my way into this Grupo Quinta Serie, but like again, these guys for like the longest time, they had the same musicians. And so like, you know, the only way you could join a grupo is if one guy gets out, and that wasn't looking like it was going to happen. And I remember one day, I don't know if he did it in a way to get rid of me, but there's a grupo called Grandes de Tijuana. And my friend Jaime from Quinta Serie was like, hey, dude, these guys are looking for a bass player. And I was like, okay, cool. I remember that day. At the time, one of my uncles had just, I don't know, dude, I'm remembering stuff that I didn't even know I remembered.
Good.
At the time, one of my uncles had just gotten papers to get here. And I remember my dad and him took me to their like practice, kind of to like, what would you say, like audition, right? Like, let's see if they kind of take me. Dude, I fucking sucked. Like, I watch videos now of that. I was like, how'd you guys take me, dude? That's a story for off camera, right? But like, they ended up taking me in the grupo. Dude, I sucked. Like, and like nothing against them. They just took me because it was cheap labor. It was like, this kid doesn't require a lot of money. We could take him throughout the whole United States, pay him shit, and he's going to be happy. Versus we get an adult who's good, he's going to want a bigger pay, right? So I get the strategy, but hey, I thank a lot to them because it taught me how to get away from stage fright. I learned a lot through them. So through like the end of sophomore year all the way to graduation and about 6 months after graduation of high school, I played with them. Yeah, it was like a really big learning experience. We played in front of 4,000 people before. Like I opened up for Banda Recodo. We opened up for like these big old, at the time it was like Banda Carnaval and Gerardo Ortiz. I think they had songs together. We would open up for them. We opened up for like a lot of big concerts. We were like the mini-me's that kind of had a name, but like you were nobody. You were just opening up for the somebodies. We'd play at a lot of carnivals, and so like it taught me a lot. Again, I learned how to like perform in front of groups of big people. In front of big groups of people.
Damn. I just got it.
But yeah, so big groups of people, and like it just taught me a lot. I remember like I was, at the time, I'm 14 years old playing in front of 5,000 people.
Dude, that's insane.
And it's like, dude, it felt amazing. Like I felt famous, it was like cool. Like I'm becoming somebody, but like, music is a hard industry. It's a really hard industry, and it requires there's a lot of politics in it.
A lot of luck too, though. A lot of luck too. No.
Yeah, I think it's like it's a lot of luck, and it's also a lot of like you gotta have money. Like you gotta have someone with money that's behind you. And especially at that time, everything was still radio. So everything was like, if you're famous on the radio, then you're famous in public, right? Yeah. It's way different now. Like the radio, who listens to the radio now? So it's a little bit easier to hit now. Not easier, sorry, I'll take that back. It's not easier to hit, but it doesn't require all the corruption anymore, because you see all these groups that literally, like, you watch them, you're like, how the hell is this famous? It's like, well, it went viral on TikTok and they got famous, right? And so I'm not saying it's easier. It's just a different way. And at the time, it was like, I remember that the quote that we always had was, hey, you write a good song and put $100,000 behind it, you'll be famous in a month. Like, it was that simple. Like, get someone that'll give you $100,000, put it behind your song, and you'll be famous. Because what they do is they pay all the guys, like the programmers from the radio stations, to just play the song, whether it's good or bad. So that's why when you're like listening to music on the radio and you hear this fucking song that's insanely annoying, but they keep playing it and playing and playing it, it's not because the public keeps wanting to hear it. It's because they're paying the most to have their song played. AKA
the Kendrick Lamar song as of late.
Yeah, I mean, all of them, right?
All of them. Dude, that's crazy. I never knew this. And we went to the same high school. We close in age, year difference, and I never knew you're traveling across the United States and dude, playing at carnivals.
For the most part,
it's insane.
For the most part, I would leave Thursday. So I was almost never at school on Fridays. It got to a point where what was her name? Is it Griselda? No. The admin lady.
Yeah, I don't remember her name.
Yeah, I forgot her name, but she was really good. She got me caught up when I ditched. Another story. She actually was like already aware, so like she wouldn't even call my mom anymore. Her and my mom, we actually, I don't know if she still lives there, but it was walking distance from my parents' house, so they knew each other. So she just like, hey, Edgar's not here on a Friday again. Like, it is what it is, But yeah, I typically would leave Thursday nights from my house, and it's like, dude, it's when you think about it, like right now that we're talking about it, I'm like, damn, like my life has actually been pretty crazy.
That's crazy.
But yeah, like I would get picked up by these guys on a Burgundy Suburban, and they'd pick me up outside my house at Thursday night. I wouldn't come back till Monday, like around 4 or 5 a.m. I'd just shower and go to school. That was like my routine every single week.
From sophomore year to senior year.
Yeah. So I missed all the parties. Like you talk about, like, hey, were you at this guy's party? Nope.
All the football games,
everything, dude. That's why I couldn't play football. So like I would join the team, and then like I would miss the game, and then like, hey, well, you can't be missing games. So I was like, well, I can't come to the game because I have a job, and it's kind of like, you know, it's like, again, I don't regret it. I do think though that like if I could do it again, I don't know if I would change it or not. But one thing that I would be curious to know is if what would happen. I'm not saying I would have been a fucking NFL athlete, but if I would have stuck through like football, what memories I would have had. Even baseball, because as a kid, we always played like, you know, little league sports and stuff like that. But just like I would join the team and I would finally start working my way up to become a starter. And then like, oh, well, I can't show up to games. Well, you can't play. And so it always became that little kind of
issue.
Yeah. So I never got to like, plus we had some badass motherfuckers when we were in high school. So, but yeah, dude. So like, that was my life. Like from basically all of junior and senior year. I remember I had, what's his name? Mr. Rivera. For
math?
No, it was
history.
Econ.
Oh,
econ.
Senior year.
Yeah. So I had Mr. Rivera for econ, and you know how they do the whole potato thing where you have to like
be a parent.
It's your whatever. So I remember that it was funny because we did like the last thing you do is the wedding. You get married.
Yeah.
And so the day of my wedding, I got there too late on Monday. I was coming from Albuquerque. I remember this day like it was yesterday. I remember we played at a carnival. It was at a fair. We finished like at, I want to say it was like 6 p.m., 7 p.m. All we did was talk from some tacos. And I remember, dude, I'm telling you, it was a Burgundy Suburban. I drank a whole bottle of NyQuil. Or, at the time, I mean, I don't know if there was some or not, but I would drink NyQuil instead of ZzzQuil because I don't know that they had ZzzQuil at that time.
No, ZzzQuil's newer.
Is it? Okay, so I drank a whole bottle. I'm not going to exaggerate the story. I'm not saying one of those massive ones.
Like a baby one like that?
I don't know that it was the baby one either, though. But I drank fucking NyQuil. Dude, I laid in the back of the truck across. They did me the favor because they know I had to go to school. And we drove all the way home. I got home like at 7, 8 a.m. I just showered. Dude, I wasn't even tired. I slept the whole way. It's like a 12 to 14-hour drive or something like that. I didn't wake up at all. I woke up when we were coming down the Tehachapi, whatever. And I wake up and I go to school and I was late because I had them for like second period or whatever the first class was, since they had the block schedule. And I remember like I got there and my wife, right, was like, oh, you should hear what he said. And so I go to Rivera and I was like, hey, my bad. He's like, oh, you're good. You died in the military. And I was like, what do you mean? And so like he did me the favor and still let me graduate. Yeah. Because technically if you missed that, you couldn't graduate because you wouldn't pass this class.
Right.
But he knew my situation. And so he said that I died in the military and he let me graduate. That was badass. And like, dude, my senior year is thanks to like a lot of my badass teachers. Like I had Mr. Carisa. Wait, no, he wasn't. Yeah. I was his teacher's aide. Then I had Ms. Gibson for English. Yeah. I had Rivera. And they all kind of knew my situation. So none of them were really like hard on it about
Gibson
it.
Gibson was a lifesaver, bro.
She was badass. If I were to say what she, like the favor she did for me, she'd probably get fired. So I'm gonna
or maybe she's not even teaching anymore. It's been a long time.
Hopefully not, because this can get her some trouble.
Miss Gibson used to let me sleep on top of the tables.
They're gonna revoke our fucking our diplomas.
No more high school graduates. No, she'd let me sleep on the tables, bro. Like she'd let me sleep. She'd let me like just the only person she'd let sleep. She'd let me slide on everything.
Yeah.
And she just did me a lot of solids, for sure.
She was hella cool
senior year.
But yeah, dude, like I always talk about how like times are different now, and maybe people thought the same thing when we were in high school. But if I could change something in my life, not to stay there, just to go do it again, I would love to go back to high school for like a week. Fact. Just go back for the graduation week, like when you go on like on a
senior night and stuff like that.
All of that stuff, yeah, for sure. But so. That was high school. I remember, dude, graduation. I was the graduation ended. Even like airband. Oh yeah. I was at airband. It ended, and I took off to San Miguel over here by Paso Robles to play. Got there at 1 a.m. We left from airband. My parents drove me to San Miguel, played, and came back. Graduation ended. Everybody was taking pictures. I don't have pictures of my graduation besides one with my parents. And we drove to Uruapan. I had to play at the Mariscos Uruapan. At the time, it was called La Fiesta. So I had to play there. And so that was my childhood, dude. Like, it was like, but I loved it. Like at the time, it didn't feel like it sounds right now. Like right now, it probably sounds
tiring. I'm tired listening.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like,
it sounds tiring.
Like, it sounds like, damn, bro, you didn't enjoy high school. But I feel like because I loved what I was doing, it was fine. It was
high school was like a second thing to you.
Yeah, basically.
But because you were living in an adult-ish life, like you were in a band, bro. You know what I mean? Like you were in a grupo, like you were traveling the United States at fucking 14 to 18, 17 years old. Yeah. That's fucking
it's crazy.
Astonishing.
It's crazy, dude. It's crazy when you think about it. But I mean, it's also not as like I don't know how to explain it. When it was happening, it didn't feel like it sounds right now.
Right.
Like,
obviously, because you're living in the moment.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It just felt like, oh, well, here we go again. And it's cool because I'm going to go like and chill. And it was fun, like sleeping in hotels and like freaking, playing in performances. And like oftentimes we would stay at casinos. So we'd like, dude, I was 14, 15 years old, 16 years. No, I'm lying. I was like 15, 16 years old. And I was gambling at casinos because they didn't know that I wasn't 21 or 18 or whatever. Like
you're rolling with these.
Yeah, I'm rolling with all these grandpas that are, dude. I was no, seriously. These dudes were older. Like the drummer was like 55. Like and so like it probably thought it was my dad, and he's fine. He's with his dad.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude. It's like that's why like a lot of the times maybe like I catch myself like judging or like healthily criticizing like people that are around my age or our age and like, dude, grow up, But I think that because I grew up too fast. Like I went through all this shit, right? Like I already did like the nightclub life. Like that's why it doesn't attract me. Like, I like going to listen to grupos and stuff, but like I don't care to like go and like buy a bottle at a club and like cause like it's like I saw it happen from a different perspective that it kind of took away the want for it,
Yeah. No. Yeah. Totally understand that.
Yeah.
Part.
So yeah, dude, like, yeah, it's all been grind and hustle. Like I always think what I do now back to like music because then I got out of, so I remember I graduated high school and then that Grupo Quinta Serie, they had hit me up and they were like, hey dude, the Bajo Sexto player got out. Like now we need someone. And so I was like, hell yeah. Cause that was always like, those were my boys. And so that's when I got out of Grandes de Tijuana. But, and also because they were paying me $300, dude, like for that, like I was leaving Thursday night, coming back Monday morning, playing at like 5-6 gigs where this fucker was charging 10 G's to play. And he's giving me $300 for the whole weekend. Again, as a kid in high school, $300 is a lot of money.
Yeah.
Like what else did I need money? I bought my own school clothes. Like I'm proud to say, due to that, like legit, my parents haven't given me like, they give me money voluntarily. Like, here's your gift, here's that. Or like, hey, we want to like bless you with this or whatever. But my parents haven't had to buy me stuff since I was like 12 years old. Excuse me. And so I thank them for that. Like I think like the Grandes de Tijuana and all that stuff because yeah, like they paid me $300, which as a kid, it's a lot of money. When I got out of high school, I kind of had a conversation. I was like, hey dude, like I'm going to have more expenses now. I want to buy a car. I want to do this. I want to do that. And it's like $300 ain't going to cut it. And he's like, oh no, that's all I can pay you. So then I was like, cool. I mean, that's fine, but I can't have a job if I work with you because this is a job. I can't be telling my job, hey, I can only work Tuesday to Thursday, It's like I have to have a job. So I'm going to have to get out of the grupo, and I joined Quinta Serie. Honestly, I'll probably get my dates all fucked up, but I played with them for a couple years. And then I don't even remember why I got out of there. But yeah, I got out of there, and I went with a grupo called, what the hell was our name? I don't know. It was the Grandes de Tijuana accordion player.
Yeah.
Oh my God, what was the name? Okay, so Grandes de Tijuana accordion player and the.
Well, while you think about it, I wanted to make a comment because I remember like we've been friends on Facebook or whatever and social media for a long time, and I would still remember all the videos you would go live on Facebook, and then so I scrolled down your Facebook today. I'm like, oh shit, they're all still there. Like all the ones you had posted too, like when you were singing with your sister, or like when you had just gotten, I think the MacBook or the Mac, the iMac.
Oh yeah, you
got the iMac, stuff like that, like memories like that, bro. Like it brought happipiness to me because like I mean, obviously you've progressed so much, but like looking back at that, those are good memories, warm memories. You know what I mean?
Yeah. GarageBand was my best friend.
There. Yeah.
Oh yeah, dude. And I, I didn't, like I told you, I didn't want to prep for this. I wanted to just kind of wing it and talk about what we were gonna, like whatever happens. But I don't have my dates right. But that's fine. It was like music all over the place. It's like, but I thank it because I was never afraid of like taking a leap. Like straight out of high school, when I ended up telling this guy like, oh, I remember what happened now. Okay. So out of high school, I told this guy that I needed more money. He said he couldn't. I went into Quinta Serie. I played with Quinta Serie for a while, but they were playing a lot. So they were playing like Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Damn.
Which was good, but dude, like the music industry here in Bakersfield is whack. Like Nobody wants to pay. Everyone wants to like lowball you, and they like, you know, they don't understand that like you can't buy talent, bro. Like you can't like the fact that I could play guitar and I could sing and I can do this. Like I didn't just wake up yesterday and learn how to do it. Like it took me years to do this, and so the fact that I'm giving you my price and you're trying to lowball it, like I'd rather just not do it, right? And so that was happening, dude. And I was making like $400 or $500. And again, we go back to the same thing. I sound entitled, but it's like I'm doing 4 days, staying up till 3, 4 in the morning every day to make $500. I need a job. Like this isn't gonna cut it, right? At the same time, I was enrolled in college for a little bit. I dropped out twice, and right. It was like it was like November of 2013. I was like, you know what? I had a friend, you know Hera Zuniga?
Yes.
So he was working at Dodge, at Dodge, and then so was Uni, Jose Garcia. Mm. And I remember they were like, hey, come over here, whatever. So before that, I was working like at IKEA, and like, I remember I worked at Boy House for 3 days. I remember seeing Steven Duran there.
Yeah.
I looked over and I saw his big ass and I was like, what's up? We caught up during lunch stuff. I was there for like 3 days, and then I went to like IKEA and Famous Footwear and like all these places. Famous Footwear, it was a 3-month like temp agency, and they didn't hire me. And so I was like, fuck, what am I going to do now? So then I hit up a Uni and head on. They're like, yeah, come over here and like apply at Dodge. I remember I went and applied at Dodge, and when I was there was this guy, Richard Monty. He's still there, that old bastard. When I got there, he said he was going to retire. That year supposedly, and this is fucking 11 years ago.
Yeah.
And he's the GM now. But I mean, at the time he was already the main guy. But yeah, he's like, I remember I told him, hey, this is my buddy from Marvin. Like he's looking for a job, and he looks at him, and this guy, Richard Monty, he's a cool ass dude. I love him, dude. Like he was fucking super cool, but he's very blunt. And when you don't know him, he's like a cranky old man. He's a cranky old Canadian motherfucker. Like he's just had a Fuchi face, and he's like, if I hire him, I'm gonna fire you. It's your decision. And I was like, oh shit, like that means I'm not getting my job, right? And I'm walking out. I remember I talked to this big dude, Doug, and he's like, oh no, hold on, like I'll talk to Richard. Long story short, they hired me. I worked there from 13 to like 16, 17-ish. Did pretty well. Definitely by far, we weren't making the commissions that car sales people make right now. I remember I was one of, not like the top salespeople. They had some really good people. But I was above average, and I was probably making like 70 grand a year. Right now, if you're above average, you're making over 100, like for sure.
Damn.
And so I was making decent money. Where's it at? Who knows? But then I remember what happened. So in 2017, I remember one of my buddies was a contractor for like agricultural work. And I was single or probably had a girlfriend or something. I don't know. And I remember like I was just like over the whole, because the car schedule, dude, my respects for car salespeople, like
shitty,
dude, it's insane. Like honestly, I always talk about that. Like if I ever had to revert back to it, I probably would. But that schedule is crazy, dude. Like my complete respect for people who could work in the car industry. My sister. But yeah, I was like tired of it, dude. It was like, it was cool. I was single. It's like, I was off on Tuesdays. So like, I remember that at the time the song, Club Goes Up on a Tuesday. I remember that it had came out. So we would always bump it, be fucking turning up at Bricks on a fucking Tuesday. And like, that was our life, and it was cool and fun and all, but it was like, I'm tired of this shit. Like I don't do anything. I work weekends and whatever. So I remember telling my friend, give me a job, dude. Pay me whatever you want. Like, pay me $500 or whatever. I'll do whatever you want. Like move crews around, do whatever. And it gives me a chance to get back into music. So that's what I'm saying. Like I always was like, cool, I can make for sure $700-800 from music. Like that's guaranteed a week. Yeah. Right now, let me find something that'll allow me to work Monday to Thursday, so I can make another $500. And now if I'm making $1,300-1,500 a week, that's cracking. You know, I'm good. Right. Especially back in 2017 when it wasn't as expensive as it is now. And so I remember that's what happened. I did that for a little bit, and then I got with Yasmin. So we got together, and I remember she's going to college, right? So she's like going to the university up in Monterey. I was up there like once a week, and it's like it was cool. I was making decent money with music. By this time, I don't know what grupo I'm playing in. I think at this time I had my own. It was Contraste Efectivo at that time. Mm-hmm. It was just me with my boy Juanito, and then we alternated bass and tuba players, Chago and like some guy Oreo and Pancho. But yeah, so at the time we were making good money because it was only 3 of us and we were charging $400 an hour. So we were playing like 5 days a week. And so at the time, that's all I was doing. I wasn't working for my homie no more. I was just doing music. and I was probably making like $1,500 a week. And so I was living life, dude. Like I had a girlfriend, but I didn't have kids. I didn't have a house. I was living with my parents, dude. I was living life. But somehow, bro, I was still in debt. Is what I don't fucking get. Like, and I'm not talking about like $1,000. I'm saying like I was in debt. I was in debt. I owed my car. I had like all this credit card debt because we always try to live a life that we can't afford because it's like attractive, right?
What is the Biggie Small says? More money, more problems.
More money, more problems.
More money, more problems.
And so yeah, like I was doing that. I was going up to Monterey, whatever. And I remember Yasmin, and I don't mark my words exactly how these went down, but I remember like it was getting close to graduation, and she told me like, hey, like I don't want to go back home. Like when I'm done with school, like what are we doing, right? And I think I knew very early on like that we were just gonna stay together. Like she's with me whether she likes it or not.
Yeah.
And I knew early on, like she was the one.
Even when it comes with that baggage? Huh? Even when it comes with the baggage? That's a big baggage.
But yeah, so I kind of knew early on. I was like, you know what? Like we like the same stuff. Like I love her family. She's cool with my family. Like it was just like it was
meant to be
clear indication. And I was like, so whenever she said that, I was like, you know what? Like, dude, I remember like I didn't think twice. Like the next day, she didn't even know, and I went to go rent an apartment. And because she was like a month away from graduating, I was like, by the time I can like furnish shit, whatever. My dad was totally against it, but again, dude, my dad's been my best friend. Like he's been the guy that like whether he like kind of approves of what I want to do or not, as long as it ain't nothing stupid, he's kind of like, I got you, dog. Like I'll let you fail. You want to fail, go fail. Like I'll let you do it. So I remember he co-signed for the apartment. He went and co-signed for the apartment because again, I was in all this credit card debt. I didn't have good credit. He co-signed for it. Funny story. I remember. So long story short, for her birthday, we were going to go to Vegas and her dad didn't let her. And so it was like, no, we got to get fucking married. Right. Or whatever. And so I remember that things happened fast and I was okay with it. I was all in. I was like, if you want to get married tomorrow, let's get married tomorrow. I ain't tripping. The funny story that I remember, when she came back from college, I had the apartment ready, and I remember living there for no more than like 3 months because, we got a good opportunity to rent somebody's house. But dude, I remember like I was working at Las Islitas at this time. I was a bartender. And I remember.
Oh shit, you were a bartender?
Yeah, I was a bartender.
What the hell?
I've done it all, dude. I've done it all. Damn, you said these shits don't hurt your ear?
No, these hurt the ear.
I think it's my glasses. But anyway, yeah. So I was a bartender at Islitas, and I remember my bill, dude. A 2-bedroom apartment, 700 square. No, 2-bedroom, 1-bedroom apartment, 700 square foot apartment.
1450.
My electricity bill.
Oh,
no, my electricity bill for 1 month was $700. I was like, what the fuck? I called PG&E. I remember calling PG&E and I was like, hey, like, are you guys billing me for like other apartments or what the hell's going on? That shit was hilarious. They literally like talked me through it. Like, no, you're using Pirate 3. And it's like, yeah, that's when I get home. And I remember like I called in the morning and she's like, yeah, so every day like at 10 a.m. someone leaves. And I was like, how the fuck do you know this? She's like, well, because everything gets shut down. So the usage goes down. I'm like, oh shit. So that shit scared the shit out of me. So whenever that opportunity came up in Arvin, I was like, yeah, I'm dipping over there because we can get the care program over there.
Yeah.
Because it's a lot easier to get it in Arvin. Yeah, dude. So then we rented in Arvin. We got married. And I remember when we got married, we were renting. I said that like 8 times.
4.
And I felt like a bum, dude. Like Yasmin was working. She was early intervention specialist. Think about it. She like has her bachelor's. She has all the right stuff, and I'm like a bum at home waiting for Thursday to go play like my music. Right? Yeah. I had a job and made good money, so it wasn't necessarily like we couldn't make ends meet. I made like $1,500 a week. She made like $1,000 a week. Like we were making $2,500 a week. We were good. Like the money wasn't necessarily the issue.
Yeah.
It was like, what the hell am I doing home Monday through Thursday while she's at work and I'm just like laying here not doing shit, right?
Right.
And so I remember that one day she kind of checked me on that. She was like, hey, like just because you're making good money with music on the weekend doesn't mean you can't go get a job. Like, why don't you get a job? Like we have bigger goals. We don't want to rent for the rest of our life. Like we want to have kids someday, and I don't want to have kids in a house that we rent, right? And it's like, nothing against people who do, okay? But like, it was like
that's what your wife told you.
That was a reality check, bro. I was like, damn. Like, I felt like a bitch. Like when she told me that, I was like, damn. I remember immediately I started applying everywhere. I started applying at Apple One. I applied in a lot of places, started hitting people up. I almost went back to car sales, but I was like, that won't allow me to do music. And it's like, I started balancing stuff out. And I remember I got interviewed by Big O Tires. And they wanted me to be, is your mic off?
No,
sorry.
I'm just listening.
I heard, but like outside of here. And so I remember I went to this interview and this guy's like, oh, this is great. Like, it's a great interview. Like basically consider yourself hired. And I was like, cool. I was going to be an assistant manager, dude. I faked myself through this fucking interview. I've worked for Islitas. I was a fucking manager there. Dude, my compa Leo has done me so many solids. My resume is stacked. and so this guy's like, consider yourself hired, right? And I was like, cool. Never called me, right? Oh. And I remember one day I kept calling and like, oh, well, they said they're going to call you back. And like a day later, I get a call from Granite Construction. And they're like, hey, you applied with us. Do you want to come like interview? And I was like, yeah, of course. So I go, I interview. These guys are like, we'll give you a call within the next couple of days. We still have 4 more interviews to do, whatever. And I was like, yeah, cool. And so then they call me right away the next morning. Actually, no, this was like at 11 a.m. And then by 4 p.m., they're like, hey, the 2 interviews that were after you didn't show up, like you're hired. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. You start Monday. This is like on a Wednesday, I think, Thursday. I don't know. And so then that same day, Big O Tires calls me and says, hey, man, we had hired someone else. It was a better candidate, but they didn't show up to work today. So do you want a job? And it kind of felt good to give him the middle finger. I was like, no, fuck you.
Yeah.
I already got another job. And it was better paying. It was better everything, right? And so I worked for Granite for a while. Dude, I'm going deep.
Keep going.
So I worked for Granite for a while. I was doing asphalt and gravel sales. So I was like selling like, aggregate, like whatever the hell it's called. I don't remember no more, but like pretty much dirt and rock and sand and whatever. And I remember something pivotal there that happened was because my brother had already been in real estate for like 2 years. And I remember that I had already been hitting him up about doing loans. Like I wanted to be a loan officer. And he was like, yeah, you should, but you should like get your like finances in a row. Like you should like get some money saved up. Because I've always been stupid, dude. Like if I want to go buy something, I'm going to go buy it. Who gives a shit what my bank account looks like? What if I have all this money saved up and I die tomorrow? Like, I'm going to enjoy my shit. And so he's like, just get your stuff together. And I was like, okay, cool. And I kind of put it off. And so I talked to, at the time, some guy, Danny, who was a loan officer at the time. He kind of was like, yeah, dude, it's a tough industry, but it's a good industry, whatever. Like, and it was just something that I kept poking at. Like, maybe. And I remember one day I was sitting in the scale house where I was a weighmaster. That was my official title. And I was doing all the sales work. Like if someone would call, like I need this many tons of whatever, I was the one that was like upping them and telling them, oh, well, why don't you do it this way? Why don't we deliver it? Why are you going to pick it up? Like, and I was the one like convincing them to do like an upsell, but I was getting none of the credit. And so I remember one day I told his name was Chris, and I love this guy. Like he was cool as hell. Dude, that was the if I could ever like retire, like if I get to a spot where I'm financially independent and I'm retired, I would love to go do that job again. Like it was so chill, bro. It was like I would get there at 7 a.m, weigh in fucking 30 trucks, weigh them out, and then I would take like a 3-hour nap while they did their round trip and they would come back.
Oh shit.
Or I would watch movies and shit like that. And they weren't tripping. It was like the job got done, right?
Right.
No one was on my ass. I was in one little cubicle, like it was a C train, by myself, door locked, like by myself, dude. I was self-employed basically. And so, but I remember that I hit this guy up and I was like, hey, dude, I want more from life. Like at the time I was making $25 an hour. So it was decent money, right? But I was like, we had, did we already have Nathan? No, we didn't.
You were looking at to get in this house.
Exactly. And yes, exactly. So I remember I had already gotten this house.
Yes.
So I got this house here down the street. And I remember I hit him up and I was like, and it was the day we were at my house. It's crazy how this turns out, right? But I remember telling this guy, and I'll tell that story next. So I remember telling this guy, I was like, hey, like I got my house. Like, yes, my wife works. And I don't think it was ever in the plans for Yasmin not to work. It was always kind of like, no, we didn't have Nathan yet. I didn't have Nathan at Granite yet. No. Okay, she was pregnant. So she was pregnant, and I remember telling him, like, I need more. Like, I'm not asking for more. I know that my current position doesn't require more, right? My current position isn't worth more. So tell me what to do so that I can move up the ladder. Like, I want to be a sales rep or I want to be whatever, but I don't want to just be like the guy that's getting paid $25 an hour and that's my max and I get a 1% increase or 0.5% increase a year or whatever, half a penny. It's like, no, like, tell me what I could do to make over $100,000. And he's like, the only way you can make over $100,000 or get a better position is if you get a degree. And I said, a degree. Like, what do you want me to get? He's like, you need a bachelor's. And I was like, a bachelor's in what? And he's like, well, whatever you want. And I was like, what do you mean? And he's like, I was like, what do you mean whatever I want? He's like, yeah, like, just get a bachelor's degree. And I said, so if I go get a bachelor's degree in child development, you'll give me a sales position at an asphalt company. He's like, yeah, it's kind of how it works. And I was like, what the fuck? How stupid is that? So I started like looking into like, what was it? The University of Phoenix or whatever, like those kind of schools where you can graduate fast. But they were like $100,000.
Expensive.
Yeah, it was like $100,000 and you can get a bachelor in like a year, I think, or like 2 years or something. Yeah. And I started looking into them. I considered it. I talked to Yasmin and I was like, let's get this loan, whatever. And she was all for it. Like, she's also like, she'll check me hard. Like, she'll be like, nah, you're just like emotional right now, whatever. But if she sees I'm persistent, she'll be like, all right, let's do it. Like, you're right. Because I am a heat of the moment kind of guy. I might want something today.
Oh, same here.
And then like in 30 minutes, I'm like, yeah, that's probably not something
I'm glad I didn't go through with it. Right?
Yeah, exactly. So 100%. That's happened so many times. Yeah. And she's the one that pulls me out of it. And so she's like, all right, whatever. So to make the story a little bit shorter, because I talk a lot, I was like, I'm not going to go to college. So what I did was I bought the courses for the NMLS to become a loan officer. I luckily had this job where I had a lot of downtime. So I remember buying the courses in like June, and I had my license by the middle of August. And I remember I sent an email because I had been calling Chris, the guy, like, hey, I need to talk to you. When can you stop by the scale house? No, I'll stop by one of these days. But this guy was a superintendent, so like I'm not even mad at him. He was just busy. And so I kept calling him. He wouldn't show up. And then so one day I was like, hey, I had to send an email. I sent him an email and I just put, hey, like, thanks for the opportunity, whatever. I'll stay here as long as you guys want me to, but like I'm leaving. Like I got my LO license and I'm gonna go work over here. And yeah, so I went. I became a loan officer in my first official month was October of 2020. And so this is whenever there was this like illness or something. Yeah. I don't know what it was, but there was like this thing.
Bullshit.
Yeah, some shit going on. And so America was great. But there was like this illness or something. And anyway, so then we're gonna be great again.
My uncle would love that shit right there.
and so I remember, if you remember, rates were like 0.0002 at the time. Yeah. Right. And so it was perfect timing. I came into the market. I had all the refis. Like, dude, my first 3 months in the loan industry, I made like 18,000 in 3 months. Right. And so I was like, fuck yeah. What the hell was I doing over there? You know, like I would literally double my salary here. And that was like my first 3 months. And I was blessed. Like I had Gus, you know, our guy Gus. I had my brother, Nelson, Edgar Perez, and all these realtors that were like putting their trust in me to help their clients. Yeah. And so like it was an industry that I felt comfortable in because sales is sales, dude. If you could sell one thing, you could sell anything. Right. And so, yeah, I had a lot of support from these guys that like trusted me through it. Obviously, as you start to do a good and a bad job for people start and stop using you. And so it was stable. I think my first year I made like 90 grand. Mm-hmm. My second year I made probably like 100. And then that's when rates went up to like 75%. Yeah. And obviously I'm being sarcastic, right? Obviously, that's when rates went up like insane. And
like 8%, 9%.
At the same time, I remember, and this is like a very pivotal story. So hold on, let me pause real quick and talk the story about when we were in my garage.
Let's talk about it.
So well, how about you tell it?
Because you tell it.
No, I want to hear your perspective.
I don't want to talk about it. I want you to talk about it.
Okay, so again, like I for a long time I was a very like what would you call it? Like I wanted more, but I didn't want too much more. You know, it was like I'm cool with like 100 grand. That was always my number. Like it was always like, hey, I hope that someday I can make 100 grand, and wherever I make 100 grand, I'm gonna just park it. Like it's gonna be the spot where I'm gonna be for the rest of my life. I can live life. I could buy RVs. I could like do the stuff. You know, the stuff that you see. And I remember sitting in the house with you guys, and this day was kind of cool because it was like eye opening. So I remember Gus, you and Gus, we were like sitting on the floor or something, right? Or no, I had like
we were on chairs, we were on buckets.
Yeah, buckets. I had just bought the house, I think, like not too far in. I had just done my landscaping. Yeah. And I remember that we were there, and you were like, we were talking, not you, but we were just talking in general about like what we want from life or whatever. And this is probably like what 4 years ago, over 4 and a half years ago. Yeah. So at the time I'm 24, 25. And so I had, Nathan wasn't born yet.
No.
Nathan wasn't born yet. And I'm just thinking like, okay, right now I make, you know, at the time I was making, like I said, I was still at Granite when I had this conversation. Right. So I was making like 50 grand a year. And then Yasmin was making, with music, I probably was already making 100 grand. I just didn't realize it. Yeah. Right. And Yasmin was making another like 40, 50. And so like we were cool. Right. But for whatever reason, like I was like, I want to make 100 grand someday. Like if I by myself can make 100 grand and Yasmin can make close to that or more than me because she's like educated or whatever, then we'll be living a really good life. Right. But it was never in the plans of like, Yasmin's never going to work again. It was just like, and I mean, never say never, right? But like at the time, it was like, okay, whatever. So I remember Gus was like, I want to have did he say Lambo or what did he say he wanted? A Ferrari or something?
Something like that. Well,
like an exotic car. And I was like, you're dreaming too big, bro. Like, that's not for us, dog. Like, that's for like trust fund kids, you know? Like, You're dreaming too big. And I remember he was like, nah, I'm going to get one someday. And it's just funny to look back because like, once you make 100 grand, it's like, that's not what I thought it was going to taste like. I thought it was going to be a whole different. I thought like my life was going to be, I was going to be just spending money at people. And it's like, definitely not how it works. Right. But anyway, to get back onto the story, I remember, where was I? Okay. Yeah. So I was like about, I don't know, a year into being a loan officer. And I remember my guy, Justo Flores, hit me up and he was like, hey dude, like, I need to buy a house. He had been hitting me up. So when he saw that I got when I went to work at Granite Construction, he had just started a Vivint Solar. And I remember he messaged me and he was like, hey, bro, like I'm doing this solar thing. Like, it's pretty cool. You should come to one of our meetings and check it out. Like, if you like it, cool. If you don't like it, cool too. Like, just come check it out. And I was like, nah, fuck that. I've been pitched by like all these insurance places and like, it's not my thing. And I'm not hating on any of it. I just like, I don't like this whole like pyramid scheme shit. And it's like, that was the perspective, right? And I'm not in any way saying that that's how insurance works or whatever. I'm just saying like that was the perspective. And so I was like, yeah, I'll hit you up someday, dog. Like, yeah, whatever. And then I remember that when I got into being a loan officer, again, hey bro, seriously, dude, congratulations on your getting your license, whatever. But come check us out, dog. Like you might like it, whatever. And again, I was like, yeah, I'll hit you up someday, bro, whatever. And then I remember we were watching a Cowboys game with my manager from Signature one day. And Justo calls me again. He's like, hey, we're having this pretty big event in Bakersfield. It's like it's an event. It's limited slots. Like we're going to have some of our best trainers here. It's going to be at Seven Oaks. Like, come check it out. Like, again, like, bro, just come. Like, whatever. And I asked Yasmin, and she's like, dude, don't go. Like, you're doing good with loans right now. Right. Like, why are you going to, like, mix your head up? Like, just stay the path. And I was like, you're right. Like, I keep doing this shit. I keep moving from one place to another, and I'm going to just, like, stay here. And so I didn't go again. And I remember like 6 months later or whatever, Justo hits me up because Justo put solar at my house. And honestly, when he went to my house, it was like, well, he did an add-on. And he's like, hey, bro, so like, you know, what we do? I was like, dude, I don't want to hear it. Just like, where do I sign? Right? Like, I don't care. You're my boy. Yeah. I know you from mutual friends. I don't need your pitch. And so he kind of was like, cool, Edgar trusted me. So whenever he was going to buy a house, he hit me up and he's like, hey, I need a loan, whatever. And long story short, so when you're going to do someone's loan, you need someone's pay stub and you need someone's like 1099 or whatever. And so he gives me his 1099 and it was like June. And I was like, holy shit. Like I look at it and I was like, this has to be like for lifetime. Like this is what you've made the time you've been there your whole time. And I remember not telling him anything though. Like I was like, damn, this motherfucker makes a lot of money. And I was like, I should have listened to this guy, right? But even then I was like, well, he's a manager now. So it's like probably 80% of that is because he's a manager. And if I go, I'm going to be like a regular rep. And so even that didn't attract me. Like obviously the money attracted me. I was like, oh shit, like this is a potential over there. But it still wasn't the decision maker. Right. So then I remember that when we closed escrow, I told him, hey bro, like with solar, like do you pay referral fees? And he's like, I do. And I was like, hey, like I do a bunch of loans. Like I could probably like teach me the pitch, and like I'll tell the clients, and I'll be like, hey dude, like I also have a friend. That way you don't get scammed by someone else. Work with my guy, and he's like, dude, like quit the bullshit. Like, he's like, are you fucking serious? Like, dude, just come check us out. Like, I'm not going to pay you referrals. Like, come check us out. Just do it yourself. Like, even if you want to do it part-time, like, who cares? Just come check it out. And I was like, you know what? Fuck it. I remember showing up to the first meeting. I still remember that day like it was yesterday. So I remember I was in my little polo, like a sophisticated ass loan officer with my big ass logo here, trying to show off that Edgar Perez is a fucking loan officer. My EP logo and I show up with my fucking dress pants and my dress shoes, and I walk in all badass, and I see all these dudes in like fucking Nike shorts, looking like they're about to go golfing. I'm like, what the fuck? And then, dude, most embarrassing shit ever. I was running late, and so the meeting started at 11. It was like 11:20. Oh, shit. And I'm like getting there, and I texted Who's like, my bad, bro, I'm late. He's like, it's cool. Just come in, and when you see me, come sit next to me. Cool. Well, this motherfucker's sitting in the front. Oh. Like in the front of everybody. Yeah. And I have to walk in, like scoot myself in, like, excuse me. Like Kevin Hart, long dick coming through. And so like I get to the front, and like I sit down, and it was like kind of like a embarrassing thing for me. It's like you got all these guys that see this like dude that just like dressed like an idiot. Not like an idiot, but like
not like an idiot.
I wasn't dressed like an idiot, but I was dressed for the wrong occasion.
Yeah, for the wrong occasion.
For the wrong occasion. Like I got there dressed like sophisticated as fuck. And I like dressing like that, right? So I guess I'll take that back. I didn't mean like an idiot, like people that dress like that are idiots. I mean like for the wrong scenario.
Yeah.
And so I get there, whatever, and then so the rest is history, right? Like I ended up was like, okay, dude, like the environment here is cool. It did seem kind of like a lot of energy, and like you see all these big numbers everywhere, what people are making, and I'm like, this shit has to be fake, dude. Like they're not fake money. But, like, this guy has to be a manager, and he gets paid more than me. Like, there's no way that I can make that money. But I was like, I'm going to believe in it. I'm going to just do it. I did it part-time for a little bit, almost 2 years. And I remember I started recruiting people. I started building my team. Yeah. I had brought on, like, probably 10 people. And it was like, I remember Justo one day, we were driving up to Delano. And I remember he tells me, like, hey, dude, like, if you want growth in the company, if you want to like ever be more than what you're doing right now, like being part-time, you never will. Like, and it ain't even because you can't produce, because you've been producing. And yeah, dude, like not to toot my own horn, but I've always been able to keep myself amongst the top 10 in the office. Like I was always number 10, but I was always there, 10, 8, 9, whatever. I was always right there. Dude, you tell me if we're running out of time. I can shorten this shit up because I'll talk forever.
Let's keep it under 110.
Where are we at right now?
58.
So you're giving me 12 minutes to wrap it up.
12 minutes to wrap it up.
Give me 12 minutes to wrap it up. I'll wrap it up in 11. Okay. So
I got one very important question for you at the end.
Okay. So then I'll wrap it up in 10 and a half.
Okay.
So So basically he says like you can't be half in, half out, dude. Like so I remember that we went to the league conference, basically like our all rep conference in Dallas, and I made the cut for it because I didn't make the cut for the one in Allegiant.
Okay.
So they did one in Allegiant, and I didn't make the cut for it, and I was kind of bummed about it. And then whenever I made the cut for the Dallas one, it was like, cool. I get to go to my first, like, real thing. Like, let's see what this shit's all about. Dude, Sunrun rented the fucking Cowboy Stadium. I'm, like, going through their lockers. Like, all these, it's just insane, dude. Like, they had us stay at this badass hotel. Like, everything's paid for. They took us to Chicken and Pickle, I think it's called. And it's like they have pickleball courts and like it's just like this insane all-inclusive, like everything paid for conference. We're in Cowboy Stadium. Like
I remember that
2 days before they had replaced the turf. So I remember that when we got there, the guy that was like giving us a tour was like, guys, how many football players do you guys think have like stepped on this turf? And we're like, well, fuck, I don't know, 1,000, 200, 500, whatever. He's like, none. Like the turf got in place yesterday. So you guys are the first people that are going to step on this turf or whatever. And it was like, oh shit, that's tight. And so it was just like a whole experience, right? And when I came back, I remember I told Yasmin, I was like, hey, like I'm in, like I'm all in. Like I can't ignore this anymore. And so when I did that, dude, that's when everything is history. Like ultimately that's when things turned around. Like I was making good money before that. I probably had gotten to, double what I probably ever thought I would ever make. And then I remember when I went full time, it was like, okay, like I have no backup no more. Like it is what it is. Like I have to make this shit work. Right. Yeah. And it's crazy to think, dude, that like every quarter you have a big quarter, or like in life in general, like once you accomplish something big, like you think like, damn, like it's going to be hard to top that. Right. But it's crazy how like we put our own ceiling. Like we're the only ones that limit ourselves. Right. And it's crazy because like, when I would hit 10 installs or whatever, like I'd be like, cool, like I'm a 10 install guy, right? Now I can't miss 10. And I wouldn't, but I never thought I was like the next level up, right? And then you like some way, somehow through the help of your peers and like people you work with and like everything, it happens. And now that becomes your floor. And it's like, when you think about it, it's like the only reason I'm not hitting even higher numbers is it's all in my head. Like, it's only because I don't want to, right? Like, and I don't mean that in a cocky way. I'm saying like every single person, if you feel like you have limitations, like it's all in our head. But yeah, dude, Sunrun has definitely like, it's I don't even know how to put it into words, like changed my life. And you tried it, you came on, like, you know what I'm talking about.
Oh,
like,
most definitely.
You know, and like a lot of times, like people come try it, and it's not for everybody, dude. I'm not saying it wasn't for you. It was bad timing, right? You,
it was just
the
bad
baby
timing.
and
Yeah,
everything. Yeah. But like a lot of times, like people are afraid of something different because, like, yeah, there's no security in your pay, right? Like it's a commission, it's a commission based job.
You make what you sow.
Yeah, 100%. You eat what you kill, right?
Yeah.
And so like, that's scary to some people, but when you can get over that and get yourself in like in a decent financial situation where, like, yeah, you're not rich, but like you can get through 6 months of life without making $1. Like, if you can put yourself in that kind of situation, like, dude, sales is the best industry you could ever be in. Like, I don't care what anyone says, you will not make as much money in any other industry than in the sales industry. Obviously some sales industries pay more than others, but like regardless, the sales industry is where it's all at, right? Because everything is sales, dude. Like, you sold your wife on marrying you, right? Like, yeah, or she sold you on marrying her. You know? No, I don't know who threw the.
No, I was definitely the catch. I was the catch. No, but I definitely agree, man. And it was an absolute blessing. It was an amazing experience for the time that I was there, and I mean that wholeheartedly. But like you said, you hit the what is it, the bullseye or whatever,
the nail on the head.
Nail on the head, yeah, whatever. It was just bad timing.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, dude, like, and the good thing about it is that, like, it's never like you can never try it again, right?
Right. Hopefully in a better situation next time, though. 100%. Sure.
Yeah, you do have to be in the good headspace.
Yeah.
And so one of the things that I'll end with before you ask me your question is, like, the key to success in anything, dude, like, but obviously in sales, we're talking about sales. You're in sales.
Sales.
In sales in general, the key to success is, like, if you focus on serving and helping someone else, or like I heard this quote once where, like, good salespeople, I mean, I'm not going to quote it right, but it's like a good salesperson focuses on making your customer or the other person's life better just because you're in it, right? And so, like, you're helping people solve problems. Like, you don't sell your product. You sell a solution to the problem they already have, right?
Right.
And so, like, if you actually focus on the wants and the needs and the best interest of your customer or your homeowner or your, whatever, your client, if you focus on that, like, the sales are going to come, dude.
Yeah.
Like, there's been deals I go to that, like, legit, I'm not going to make any money. I've actually lost deals on some money on some deals because it's like, whatever, the scenario, right? This person needs this more than I need the money that I'm going to make on it. So it's okay. It's fine. Then there's deals where it's like, coincidentally, you make a shit ton of money and you're still hooking up the customer, right? Like, they balance each other 1-on-1. But, like, if your intention is always, I'm going to serve this person, I'm going to come to this person's house and serve them and leave them in a better situation than they were before I met them, dude, this industry or any sales industry is going to be the best blessing you can ever have. Because when you focus on that and you have the right things in mind and you're not focused on fucking people over and you have, like, good intentions for people, God just blesses you, dude. I'm extremely blessed. Like, my wife is my biggest blessing by far. She knows how to push me, dude. When I'm getting comfortable and I'm getting fat and comfy at home, she's like, hey, get your ass up and go knock doors, dude. That's your job. I don't care if you're at 6 deals this week. Go do it, And when I'm having a bad day, she knows how to comfort me. Like, that is my number one blessing, and that's the reason that I've had the success I have. But in regards to actual work, like, dude, there's weeks where, like, I'm having a shit week, and then Friday comes around and it's like, hey, dude, my uncle wants solar or whatever. And then I go to the uncle's house, and the uncle's like, yeah, my sister wants it too. And then the sister's like, yeah, well, let me talk to my brother because I think he wants. Can you meet with all 3 of us at the same time? Like, oh, shit, this happens in this job. But it only happens because everyone talks good about me, right? Yeah. Versus you go to these houses and there's people that got completely screwed by someone and they're out there selling a product that they know is faulty, or they're, like, screwing people over intentionally. Like, you're never gonna make it, dude.
Right.
Like, you're here for the short-term commission and you're not here for the long run. But yeah, ultimately, if you focus on serving, like, I think in any aspect of life, you're gonna have a successful life.
Oh yeah, man.
So what's your question, bud? What did I wrap it up in time?
Yeah, actually a lot sooner than expected.
Well, yeah, you cut me off.
There was There was an instance where we were driving home from DG's house, and you were a little tipsy, and I remember we stopped by for some McDonald's. I don't know if you remember. Probably don't.
But when was this? A long time ago?
Like 2 years ago.
Yes, in your car.
And and then you made a comment that from how I knew you, I didn't think you could open up in that way, and it still stuck with me. So I really wanted to take this opportunity to ask you.
You literally have me right now. Like, I have no idea what you're about to ask me, because I don't remember that day very well. So
my question to you, because it seemed like you were really like struck by it. Like, how do you feel like you're still misunderstood? Do you feel like having the personality that you have? Do you think that it still affects you, like what people think or what people say about you?
I want some context to this. If it wasn't a bad thing I said, go ahead.
No, it wasn't a bad thing.
Okay, go ahead.
No. It's just like you were speaking about like you hate the fact that some people think that you act like you're all high and mighty, or that you that you're a cocky person. Like, do you think that's what people really think about you, or like do you think that affects you in any way, shape, or form now?
I don't know that. I don't know that I come off like. I mean, we can never see our what do you like our whatever the fuck I'm trying to say.
Yeah, we
can never see what we're doing wrong, right?
Right.
So I don't know that I come off as a cocky person. I don't try to be, but I am a
authentic.
I am a hard ass. Like,
yeah.
I don't like victim mentalities, bro. Like, that shit pisses me off. Like, I truly hate it. Like, you can ask Yasmin. Like, if I don't take pills for headaches, I don't if I feel sick, I don't sit on the couch and cry like a little bitch about it. Like,
yeah.
You have to be tough, bro. Like, life is hard. Life's a bitch. Then you die, right? Like, it is what it is, right?
Yeah.
So I hate when I have conversations with people and they're like bitching about politics, or they're bitching about whatever you want to say. Like, they're just complaining, right? Complaining doesn't get you anywhere, right? Like, it's funny. I always tell people, like, whenever the best icebreaker to anybody, any Mexican, when you're knocking doors, say, ¿Qué dice la buena vida? I always say that shit. And they always say, pues ahí andamos, ¿de qué nos quejamos? Right? And I always say, pues no nos ganamos nada, right? We don't get anything out of complaining. If complaining fixed the problem, then I'd be complaining all day.
Yeah.
But it doesn't do anything, right? And so because of that, I think that some people don't really like me, like, in that aspect. Like if you're complaining in front of me, I'm gonna check you. I'm gonna, like, not check you like I'm gonna get down with you, but I'm like, bro.
Oh, so you can't fight?
Yeah, I'll get my ass whooped. I will not fight anybody. But no, yeah, like so yeah. People might see me as like maybe a dick, or like maybe people do see me like cocky because of what I post or whatever. Like, none of my stuff, honestly, is showing off. Like, whenever, dude, Sunrun, legit. Like, you wanna like live a day in my shoes? Come join us. Like Sunrun legit is the best thing that's ever happened to me, right? Well, in career-wise.
Yeah, career-wise. Yeah.
And so, like, these trips I take, the trips they take us on, they're paid for,
earned.
bro. Yeah,
they're earned.
Well, yeah, they're earned. Like, they're paid for. I don't pay a dime. Like,
yeah.
And so, if me posting that I'm in the DR makes you feel like I'm cocky, bro, you're in the wrong headspace.
Facts.
You know what I mean? Like,
Facts.
If me posting that I got a new house makes you think like, oh, this was a cocky ass, then you're in the wrong headspace, bro. Like, just because someone posts their accomplishments doesn't mean they're showing off.
Right.
They like, I feel extremely freaking proud of myself that I've accomplished the stuff that I have. Like, think about it. I was selling fucking hot dogs at 12 years old for $100 a week. You know what I mean? Like, or $60 a week or whatever it was. Like, dude, like, it's insane to be where I'm at. And so that's why I post my stuff. I post my stuff because anyone could, like I said earlier, anyone can accomplish anything.
Yeah.
And so, like, if people misunderstand me, for a little while, I was upset about it, especially at that time.
Yes.
If people misunderstand me and they're like, oh, he's cocky, or he thinks he's better than us, or like every time we hang out, he talks about solar. Well, dude, I love my fucking job. What do you want me to do about it? Right? Like, okay. But secondly, like, if you don't, I don't know, in the Hispanic culture, it's like frowned upon to talk about money. I don't care to talk about money because money doesn't matter. Like, it's the freedom, right? It's the freedom that it gives you. It's like what you can do with it. So it's like alcohol, right? Alcohol and money make you more of what you already are, right? And so like they bring out what you already are, right? What you've been hiding and you've been like being a hypocrite about, it's gonna bring it out, right? That's one thing that I am very proud of, that I can say that I'm not a hypocrite. Like, so I might be a hard ass. If you complain in front of me, I'm gonna check you. I'm gonna tell you that I think you're wrong. And if you say, nah, but it's because it's because of nothing. Like, stop complaining about who's president. Stop complaining about fucking how much it costs for gas. It costs what it costs. Stop complaining that you can't pay your bills. Go find another job. You know how much harder it is to save $10,000 and to make an additional $10,000 a year?
Pretty hard.
Like, it's insanely harder.
Pretty hard.
Okay, so like knowing those facts, why don't you do something about it instead of sitting back and like, oh, God doesn't love me. Bro, God loves us all the same.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it's what you do. There's like a bunch of stories and cliche things that I could bring up where like the burning down house of a guy that keeps saying like, God's going to save me. And there's firefighters and there's a person that's walking by and there's cops that try to help him. And he's like, no, God's going to save me. He dies. And then he goes to God and says, what the hell? Why didn't you save me? And he's like, I sent you 3 guys to take you out of there. And you didn't want to leave. So it's like you didn't want the help that I was providing for you, right?
Yeah.
So a lot of times you get these opportunities that are in front of you that you can take full advantage of. And like your life would insanely change. Like you would literally switch the trajectory of generations of your life or generations to come. And you turn the other way because it's a little bit hard. It's like, nah, that's too hard. Like God doesn't love me. He's putting hard things in front of me.
Yeah.
It's like, nah, dude, like that's what could have changed your life. But
Yeah.
go ahead, continue on the path of comfort. Yeah, that's my answer, dude. Did you like my answer?
I actually really loved your
I
answer.
prepped it, dude. I knew you were going to ask me that. Hey, honestly, you hit me with a left hook there. When you said we were driving from McDonald's, like my mind was like, what
the
is
fuck
he about to say?
Yeah, what's going to happen
Like,
right
I thought you were
now?
going to say like you ate 3 Big Macs and like I was tripping.
Nah. It was you didn't even eat your fries. I had to eat your fries.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, that was tough back then.
Yeah, dude. But no, it's...
But no, I thank you. I
thank
feel like that's what a lot of people are going to need to hear, but it's your authenticity that I really appreciate the most. Because you've always been like this.
I'm a nice guy, dude. Like
I don't know about that.
I deep down inside, I'm the biggest teddy bear you'll ever meet. I can never say no. I always help everybody I can help. Sometimes it bites you
in the ass.
It bites me. Not sometimes. Most of the time, it bites me in the ass. But if you ever heard me say this before, you know I'm not lying. That's why God blesses me, because I'll give. You know how they say that. I don't know what the quote is in English, but me quito la camisa por un buen amigo. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I don't think you want to see me shirtless, but
No, God, I have, and I really don't like it.
no, but yeah, I help where I can help, and even sometimes when I can't help, and
Yeah.
that's probably my biggest blessing, because God gives me because He knows I'll give back.
Yeah.
And so if you know me, you know that I will always help someone out, but I will also check you when I think you're wrong, and not that I think I'm always right, because that's the thing that everyone, oh, you always think you're right. No, I know I'm wrong, but I'm not gonna let you tell me that, motherfucker.
I'm not gonna let you fucking know.
No, but thanks for having me, Bernie. It was
Edgar,
fun, dude.
I
Love you,
appreciate
dude.
you, brother.